Now, this brings us to a more complex interrelationship. And we know from Jesus Christ that His light is the governing medium for all things in the universe. He called it the law. We articulated it in this manner. On the other hand, Joseph Smith declared that faith is the great governing principle with authority over all things. Even more perplexing, Joseph declared that the Melchizedek priesthood is a perfect law of theocracy and is universal. We formulated these concepts as follows. So what does this mean, and how can these claims be reconciled? Are all three things, the light of Christ, faith, and priesthood, simply different names for the same thing? Or are the statements truly contradictory? We believe they can be resolved through a deeper understanding of each, for they are directly and deeply interrelated. The interrelationship between the light of Christ, faith, and priesthood can best be understood within the following framework. The light of Christ is the ultimate source of power, and specifically, governing power in the universe. Again, as the Savior put it, it is the power of God. Faith is not the power itself, but the application of that power. It is the exercise of mental intent, mental exertion, as Joseph called it, which activates the power inherent in the light of Christ. If the light of Christ is the source of ultimate power, and faith the application of this power, then priesthood is the orderly governance of this power. As the prophet explained, the Melchizedek priesthood controls powers and blessings and is the channel through which all things pertaining to the gospel are revealed. Now we formulate these principles as follows. Yet, how does this explain that all three are governing powers? Governance in any realm must have two components, power and authority. Power is the ability to do something or the capability of doing that thing. Authority is the right or permission to wield specific power. In any ordered jurisdiction, whether it be of man or of God, there must be legitimacy to govern and the power to enforce that governance. In God's kingdom, whether in heaven or on earth, both authority and power reside in the Melchizedek priesthood. God Himself rules with the power and authority of the priesthood. In turn, when God commissions men to act for Him, He gives them both power and authority. Both are necessary, since the priesthood is not simply an administrative function. It requires divine power to accomplish His purposes. Of course, that power is the light of Christ as exercised through faith. Joseph Smith clarified this point in his restored version of John's Revelation. All those who overcome and keep the commandments shall have power over many kingdoms. They shall govern those kingdoms by faith, which activates the power they were given. This is the essence of priesthood governance. God gives men power over kingdoms. The fact that He does so constitutes authority, the right to exercise that power. Now, this power is exercised by faith, along with equity and justice. All three principles merge in the maintenance and execution of divine governance, theocracy.